Okay, so this live is going to be about people taking their lives on the heels of the election, final numbers coming in. And the level of fear that's being mixed and bubbling over by content creators and just adding more and more fear is to more fear. It's like literally, I'm watching people literally start a bonfire and adding gasoline to the fire and then adding more timber to the fire. It's insane. It's completely insane. So I woke up this morning before my meditation to seeing that and this is a number I just reposted. And is it true? I don't know. Let's not forget. Okay, let's not forget we're being played. There's psyop shit. There's all kinds of weird shit to create the egregore of panic and fear. I've talked about it with War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. I've talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. 706 people. And another number came up, 2,000 people by 5 a.m. had taken their own lives because of the win or the loss, however you say it, the win or the loss. Okay? Now, I don't know about you guys as content creators feeding that flame, but you need to shut the fuck up and back off because you're harming people with your shit, with your fucking fear tactics, okay? Of Handmaid's Tales and shit like that. Now, with your shit, with your fucking fear tactics, okay? Of Handmaid's Tales and shit like that. Now, about a week ago, I gave you an analogy, an actual story, real women in Sudan who weren't just going to get raped, they're going to get tortured and raped until they no longer lived, that took their lives, 134, like a harikari, like samurais. Don't compare that of like soberly going, wait, hang on, this is a tsunami I can't win, and I'm not going to go through that kind of trauma because they're going to take my life anyway. So I'm going to make a decision to take my own. Okay, number one. But for young women right now and women to go ahead and unaliven themselves because some other party won is the epicenter of insanity. And for you content creators that are creating this with your little lives and talking about it's a Handmaid's Tales and letting it run for hours and hours, you're actually creating the egregore of panic and despair. It's an egregore you're creating and you're harming women. You're harming women. I don't want to talk about your feelings of reproductive rights right now. I'm trying to save your fucking lives. I'm trying to save your life so you can see another day. So then in 4 years you go like many people have. Holy shit. I almost did it. I've got a baby, or I'm with a partner. I don't care if she's a woman or a same gen. I don't give a fuck. I just got my book published. I just won an award for my poetry. I just finished school as an architect. But 4 years ago, when when Kamala lost, I was actually playing, Russian roulette with my life. I'm so glad I'm alive. And many of you who are creating these or these content creators that you're seeing are creating this egregore, you need to tell them to back off, because these numbers better stop now. Now, let me say something to you, okay, about massive depression on the collective, because this is massive despair. I've been talking about egregores for the last 2 weeks. This is very interesting to me. But I'm also really urgently asking you, as women, to stop feeding the fire. Stop pouring gasoline in the flame. There are people who are on all kinds of cocktails of psycho drugs, where the packet says side effect is unaliving yourself, okay? Anybody with brains knows that. So this is adding even more desperate moves, more feelings of absolute, there's no point in me going on. This 4B movement, you do whatever the fuck you want. No one gives honestly, I don't give a shit what anybody does in their bedroom as long as there's not a child involved. You want to not do shit in your bedroom? It's your business. You want to have all kinds of hanging shit for your ceiling? It's your business. I don't care about the 4B movement. What I care about is you guys promoting The Handmaid's Tale when we actually are witnessing, as women in the West, witnessing women actually living worse than The Handmaid's Tale. Worse. Far worse. I dare you to take a fucking plane ride over there to help those women. You wouldn't want to be in that environment right now. You won't last a few hours. So for anyone that is content creating this kind of egregore of despair and fear, shame on you. Shame on you. If this is a rumor, because I know that there's a lot of little games being played to control the masses. If this is a rumor, and here we go again with people that please spread the love of God. Well, no, exactly. This is such an important message. Thank you, my love. Thank you for being here. This is absolutely insanity. And let's just say this. Let's say we're being played, because we have been played many, many times. Okay? When the lockdown happened, I'll never forget, I read this article of this gorgeous young girl that was 19 years old, long blonde. I mean, she looked like something out of another planet. She was such a gorgeous kid. And she was on the spectrum. She was Asperger's. And the lockdown in the UK was so fierce that she couldn't even go visit her family. She was a barmaid. She was a very social butterfly. And after 2 months of not being allowed to communicate with, be with her family, like physically being hugged she took her own life at 19. That shook be with her family, like physically being hugged she took her own life at 19. That shook the fucking core out of me. And she was not allowed to have community. So here's what I'm going to say to you right now. If you hear of anybody going through what I'm going to call, because it's psychosis, I'm sorry, okay? It's psychosis. There's no reason to take your life over a fucking election. There is no reason to cut off people you love over an election if they voted against you, what you wanted to vote for. My God, where is your loyalty to yourself? You can always make money and get on a fucking plane and leave the country if it's that bad, but you should not take your life, okay? You shouldn't. Do you know how many women right now in Afghanistan, Sudan, Congo, and China that would love to live your life right now? And you're going to just rip yourself out of it? And for women who are actually feeding the flames to this bullshit, back the fuck off. Because that karma, you've just earned some karma. If you're creating that kind of shit, let me tell you, you are not unscathed. Karma never misses her mark. She's a bitch when you fuck up. You got to stop. You're going to have to stop. I know you want your views and your likes. I know you think you're doing something great. You're not. You're not. Because unless you have solutions that give women pathways out of their despair, because you better give women pathways. So I'm going to give you some. No matter what happens, the sun still rises. No matter what happens, you still are going to go to your job. No matter what happens, people will disagree with your philosophies, your views, your belief system. No matter what happens, if you have another day, you have another choice. No matter what happens, get your passport. No matter what happens in an election, whatever. No matter what happens, get your passport. No matter what happens in an election, whatever happens, always have a passport. I'm being straight up. Don't be a sitting duck, because right now a lot of women are thinking that they're sitting ducks. You're not. Grow some kahunas and leave the country. Go to Norway. Go anywhere. Go to Bali. Go one-way plane ticket and trust the universe that you're back. You're going to be fine. You can get a waitress job or any job you want if you have no skill sets that are portable. You know what's portable? If you read tarot, you can read tarot on a beach in Bali, and fucking before you know, you'll have a crowd of people wanting to fucking do a reading with you. Trust me. Trust me. Tarot is an incredible magnetic energy. If you have no tarot skills, you can't read, but you've waited tables before. I knew lots and lots of girls in the 80s, traveling all over the world, just getting gigs, waitressing tables. Not a dime on them. A backpack, a good smile, and a great attitude. Those were girls. All of them were girls that were doing that. They were amazing. And they traveled the world getting waitressing jobs. If you're highly educated and you're going to look your nose down on those options, that's on you, girl. because there's a whole world out there waiting for you. And you're going to take your life because it didn't go your way? What's going on with your head? Seriously. You don't think you matter? You don't think that your life is worthy? You don't think that you should actually enjoy your life? You want to be 4B and go to Korea to see why 4B became 4B in Korea? That's a good idea. You should actually go to those places. You should go to countries where women are completely oppressed. And then you'll realize that when you walk out of a plane in a Western country like America or Norway or France or England, what a fucking difference it is. Maybe you need to see the world so you can see how other women live, how other women's realities are, as we speak, The Handmaid's Tale. Since that seems to be the drum everyone's beating. And far worse. Again, I'm repeating myself. Women in Afghanistan right now are not allowed to speak. It went from you can't speak outside. So because a man's ear might hear a woman's voice, literally that's what they said. To you cannot speak in your own home. You cannot speak to your daughter or son. You cannot speak. When was the last time you didn't speak for 24 hours? I'm going to say never. Never. Unless you were in a coma. Or you had straight throat and you couldn't talk. So I really think that you're going to have to do better than this, my friends. You women that are in the 4B movement, shut the fuck up. Because you're harming women. Because if this is not a rumor, and this is true, and 706 women just actually unalivened themselves because you flamed the fire, because you got all excited about your anger, your righteous female rage, your toxic shit, and you masculines are there doing the same, you need to stop. Because that karma is on you now. You are now stained with it. Trust me. Trust me. Okay? And you don't want to take that on. So your job, if you want to be leaders, because if you're a content creator with influence, then you become a leader, an influencer. What does that mean? Not to buy fucking lipstick, my dear. To talk people off the ledge, my dear. That's your job. Not to fan the flames of dissent and despair to the point where women who you don't know are fragile to the point where they can't handle what you're saying. And now suddenly they feel like the walls are closing in on them and they decide, I can't do this. Your job is to talk women off the ledge for another day. And if you're not doing that, shut the fuck up. If you can't marshal that kind of incredible power to help women, especially young women, realize it's going to be okay, there's another day, then there's something seriously wrong with you mentally. You've got mental problems. Go see a therapist. Okay? Because there are young women that were in the resistance during World War I and World War II. Young 16, 17-year-old girls fighting for the freedom of their people. Some of them didn't make it. They were executed. But they fought for another day, my friends. They fought for another day. Learn how to become that kind of warrior. Because right now, you look, all these content creators doing this, they look like idiots, in my opinion. And it's not my humble opinion. It's the truth. So let me see. Any comments? Have you seen that? I had no idea women were that fragile. Based on an election. I'm like, does anybody have any comments? I mean, does anybody have anything to say? That women are that fragile, they rather just step off the cliff than go, you know what? Fuck it, I have a passport. I really don't want to be here. Okay, well, then go. Yeah, go. Be happy somewhere else. Go where there are tons of European countries that are much more progressive. Go. But don't take your life. Don't call it lights out. That's insanity. Anybody saying anything here for or against it? Because that was the morning news. Okay, and professors going, oh my God, I was just so worried for my student. I was just so worried. And one woman saying, my Lexapro brain. Okay, I'm not here to shame anyone, but really? Antidepressant. You know what's interesting about depression, my friend? It shows you, okay, that something's not working, Okay? When someone you love dies, you're supposed to be depressed. When the shit hits the fan, you lose your job, your house, your whatever. You're supposed to be depressed. It is a signal, okay, that is coming to you to show you that things need to be changed. Depression isn't a bad thing. It's an energy saying, this is not working for us. Do something. SOS. Okay? We've all been on the edge of wanting to call it a day. Okay? Don't get me wrong. But we're all still here. Another day. And it's very important that we honor that next day and the next day and the next one until our expiration date comes to pass. Okay? There's no point in ending it sooner than you have to. I've just heard so many people who literally were saved or had thought about it into the dark night of the soul, spiraling out of control, and 2, 3, 4 years later going, holy fuck, thank God I'm still here. I'm holding my baby, or all the things that I just said, or I live in another country, or I've traveled all over the world and I've influenced women on their healing journey, or men, or couples. I just don't get it. How can people fan the flames of the self-destruction of these women? Mostly, I don't know how old they were. They're young, old. I don't know. You got women right now who are living in a tent. You don't think they're depressed? You don't think they want to call it a day with the winters coming and no food in their belly and no protection and always being afraid that they could be raped at any point by anyone? And making themselves, wearing dirty clothes so that they're not attractive. Right now, we have women living that reality right here in the streets of our country. But you want to lose your mind and create an egregore of despair to make women feel, I feel unsafe now. So in 24 hours, you've gone from I feel safe to I feel unsafe. Because in your opinion, the wrong person got into the office. The wrong person won. So now you feel unsafe. Then you have choices if you feel unsafe. You have multiple choices. It may take a while for you to gather the money to make those choices happen, but fucking get it done. I've always told in my life, if you're going to have 2 jobs, if you're going to do 2 jobs, make sure that you're packing away the second paycheck so that you have moving mad money. Every woman should have mad money. You never put yourself in a situation you can't get out of. And that includes if you don't like the country. Honestly, I'm not saying get out if you don't like it. That's not my attitude at all. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying if you feel that level of despair here, then give yourself another day in the right environment where you feel safe and heard and protected. And there are countries that offer that. I'm looking to move, to be honest, just so you know. Okay? And I've been feeling that way for fucking decades. But finally, the portals have opened. Maybe your portals have opened now. Okay? That's going to be really important. I remember meeting American girls when I used to live in the Bahamas. American girls going to the Bahamas from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, those kinds of fucking places. And going, I'm not coming back. And getting jobs as waitresses in the casinos, whatever, and creating their new lives. Going in to get their last shit, closing their apartment down, and moving permanently to the Bahamas and living the life of their dreams because they had kahunas. Lots of girls I met on those beaches, becoming their friends. Them saying, I can't go back to my life. This is like, I love it here. Well, then lots of people did it and started businesses and tiny restaurants and sandwich shops. And there was a guy who became a millionaire who was an Italian. I met him. Walked in with $500 in his pocket and was a waiter. It saved all his dimes and then opened a pizza parlor, and it went viral all over the Bahamas. He had different restaurants in the Bahamas that grew. Became a millionaire. Had nothing in his pocket. I had a friend of mine who left Tehran, right? And she came here with I think it was $200, not knowing English, and ended up as a young woman making $80,000-$90,000 as a store manager. People do this shit all the time. They leave countries to go to other countries to start new lives. And unaliving yourself is not the right choice. It really isn't. You're not those 134 Sudanese women that actually had no choice, no passport, no money, and mercenary men coming in to wreck, to destroy them before they were going to be unalive anyway. So they made their own choice. I understand that choice. That choice makes sense to me. But because the wrong president is being, going to come in your opinion, and you're going to just take your lives, and then you content creators are going to continue looping that fear, I don't know. I have no other words. There are options. Go find your options. You fight here. Where can I be in peace elsewhere? You can be. What are you talking about? Have you ever been outside the country? This is what I'm going to ask you. Have you guys ever lived? I don't mean going on the cruise, going to Mexico, or wherever the fuck you guys have gone to. Have you ever lived in a foreign country? Because if you're 30 years old and you have never lived in another country, then it's time you got your passport and got your ass together and live in another country. I'm sorry. Okay, you need to go to another country. I have friends who live in Bali. They're a digital nomad. Are they making a lot of money? Not really, but just enough so they get nice little meals. They get the internet at the cafe. They create shit. They become, they do drop ship. They do all kinds of little creative things to add money to the ad money. But they're living the life they want. They're not, they do drop ship. They do all kinds of little creative things to add money to the ad money. But they're living the life they want. They're not clocking. They meet amazing people. They fall in love. The lover says, hey, I got money. Let's go to South Africa, or let's go to Australia, or let's go to Sweden. My family will love you. You can hang out with us during the winter. That's what happens when you put yourself out there in the world. You meet fabulous people. And suddenly somebody wants to buy you a plane ticket to somewhere. And then you got your own money, what I'm calling your mad money. You should always have mad money where you're going to be okay. Right? I knew a couple in the Bahamas who had bought a small sailing boat. I'm not joking. I swam up to them. We had a long 1 hour conversation while I was waiting in the water. And they were in their 40s. They were traveling the world on that little ass 25-foot sailing boat. And they would make port. They would get jobs for like a month, buy supplies, and get back on their boat and continue their adventures. And they were madly in love in their 40s. There are all kinds of ways to live. Find out how you can actually grab your life and control your life. If I could do it all over again, if I had been able to be mentored, I probably would have stayed in the Bahamas as well, to be honest. Because that, for me, personally, that was a launching point to other, and I'm not telling you to go to the Bahamas. I'm saying for me. And for many I met. But Bali seems to be the place for many. Portugal is the place for many. Okay? There are a lot of places. The world is huge. There's huge places. There's huge experiences to have. And so when you make the choice of taking your life, you've decided that you don't have any control over your life. You've actually said to the universe, I don't have the mindset or I'm not going to say courage, because when you go through that kind of depression where you don't want to live anymore, it feels like you're being buried alive, to be honest. It feels like you're literally being engulfed by mud and you can't breathe. Your nostrils are plugged with cement. I get it. However, it's not helping that content creators are creating more and more of the same egregore that's creating this loop for women who are not feeling like they have a choice. That's my point. Okay? I remember hearing a woman in a little village drinking gasoline because she felt so trapped. Okay? Took her days for her to die. I've heard of women, okay, in Tibet. Women that have gone through massive shit. You guys aren't even near it. You're like afraid of something unseen. You're afraid of a future you don't even know. That's insane shit to me. In fact, that's how fear controls people. They're afraid of what might happen. What might happen? What do you mean what might happen? Well, I don't know, but I don't feel like I'm safe. Why? You've got 2 months, if you want, to get your shit together. Get your passports. You should all have a passport. I will be your Auntie Tony. If you don't have a passport, make do. Eat rice and beans. Get your passport. You should never be a sitting duck. You should always have your passport. As a matter of fact, when World War II erupted, many of the people that couldn't escape France, England, Germany, Austria, they didn't have their papers. They didn't have their passports. And they were sitting ducks when the shit hit the fan. When you feel like you're in a situation where the shit could hit the fan, you better make sure you have passports, you have money, you have cash, you have shit. You've got gold, you got some silver. Okay? I'm just being real. And am I saying that like I've got a trust fund? No, I'm saying that as a plan. Plan shit. Always be in power. Own your power. Own your life. No one owns your life. No one owns your womb. No one. So if a country is about to take that from you, then you leave the country. And you go, well, I don't know. What am I going to do? What kind of job? Well, what the fuck do you think immigrants are doing? Do you think they're worried? They're fucking running out of countries for their lives. They don't have a pot to piss in. They don't have any money on them, really. They have barely anything. And they're making those fucking bold decisions to better countries. You guys are all complaining about it. They're doing it. So when you ask these questions, I mean, ask yourself, why are you so fear-filled? And why are you listening to content creators actually adding to your fears and your level of despair? That's crazy to me. All right? So calm down. Write up a plan. Write up a plan. Do I want to live here? Yes, no. Let's go with no. No. Okay, then start looking at countries where you feel like you would be happy, safe. For all I fucking know, you could actually move to another country and meet the love of your life. Okay? Same gender, opposite gender. As for the 4B movement, I'm going to tell you a secret. No one gives a shit if you're going to have sex or not. No one cares. I don't care what you do in your bed. No one cares. It's not a threat to anyone. It isn't. If there was a whole bunch of men saying, I don't want to have sex, it's a 4C movement, let's just say, for men. No one would care. No one cares. You got to understand that. People, literally creating content going, that's it, I'm 4B, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. It's like, okay, bravo. Next. I want a cappuccino with a double espresso shot. That's how important those statements are to most of us that have a brain. Because we're more interested in our quality of life. And we're also interested in human rights. We're concerned with women who really, really fucking are suffering. Right now as we speak. Interested in human rights. We're concerned with women who really, really fucking are suffering. Right now as we speak. Taking their lives right now, unaliving themselves because actually they are trapped and there is no other solution. So you content creators, you're on notice. Get your shit together. Talk these women off the ledge. And these men. And these transgender people who actually don't think like they have a choice. They have a choice. As long as you live in a Western world, I'm being honest, it might not be fucking cracked up for all you want and what you think you deserve. I agree. 100%, I fucking agree. You're preaching to the choir here. I'm not staying here. And it has nothing to do with the presidency. I was deciding that. I wanted to do that 10 years ago, but I had family. That's what kept me here, family. And I knew they weren't going to budge. And now all my family members are dead. So now I can go. Does that make sense? That's why I'm now going. My plan I was never sold on the American dream. Okay? Never. That's not because I'm anti-American. It's because I saw the writing on the wall. I'm a fucking psychic. I know, I could smell it like you smell rain before it comes. I'm not pro anyone. I'm pro human rights. Now, you have Tulsi Gabbard and you have Kennedy. The glass isn't completely fucking empty, my friends. But if this is not your home anymore, if you can't recognize it, to be honest with you, if you're a starseed, you will go to different countries. You will have gifts and you'll enjoy beautiful things, but you will never feel like you're home anyway. If you're truly a starseed, you will never feel like you're home. All of us starseeds have never felt like we were home on this planet. And I've lived in multiple countries. Lived. 1 year, 2 years. Lived in other countries. So I know what I'm talking about. Okay? From Africa to Asia. To Europe, to the UK. All right, so I'm going to tell you something. There's always a sense of malaise anyway, being a starseed. Always. It clings to you. You know there's a home, but it's not this one. Let's go learn how to make the dots connect and move around. Beautiful. I mean, just, as long as you're alive, you can actually write, blog from a Bali cafe, from a Nepalese cafe overlooking a temple, watching monks walking, yaks, women selling their wares, men, creating bowls, watching women making malas, smelling the curry in the air and the spices and the hot, the thin wind, and basically having an amazing experience, writing about these experiences and how you're learning that the world is rich with experiences to be had if you just claim it. And there are women right now as we speak who do not have your choice. They do not and will never have access to a passport. Once you have a passport, my friend, it is a small example of freedom. It is not a complete freedom, don't get me wrong, because you still got to show the passport to cross borders. But at least you've got the ticket that can be punched. And right now, as we speak, there are women whose wombs have been ravaged by misogyny. That's misogyny, okay? An idiot male, masculine energy that's going to make you pay for half your meal, or is going to treat you like shit at a dinner, or is going to demand a BJ because now you have your period and he thinks he's hit the fucking lotto. Men like that, just so you know, you're still alive, my friend. You've got to start using your intuition, your instincts. So we're going from being breadcrumbed, right? This is what I'm seeing with this generation of women. You're going from being breadcrumbed by multiple men to going 4B. Okay, it could be a healing time. It could be important for you to actually really love yourself and actually grow your power to be enough unto yourself. I don't think it's a bad idea, but to be honest with you, I think that many people are so hell-bent on creating content to like gather likes and attention to, I'm for, that's it, and announcing it like it's a threat. Like I saw a young woman, really good-looking young woman, you would have thought she had more brains, going, yeah, there's no kitty, that's it. We're not going to give the kitty out to men. Oh, okay, well, these men, they're called passport bros. They don't give a fuck. They got a passport and they're going out of the countries. My point exactly. Why don't you be a passport sister and go and live your fucking life at the fullest? Take a lover when you want. Don't take a lover if you don't. Do what you want. Have fun. Enjoy your youth. Enjoy your body. Enjoy all the different horizons that you can actually experience. But definitely don't take your life because you don't think we have the right administration coming into power on January 2025. Okay? That's psychosis. Okay? The Afghani woman, if you told me today 100 of them just took their lives in Afghan right now, I'd say, I get it. I get it. This would not be the appropriate speech. What I'm saying to you would not be appropriate to those women at all. It'd be, my God, let's do a meditation so that their souls can cross over with peace. Okay? But you content creators creating this kind of fucking egregore of despair, driving young women, and I don't know the age. I don't know the age gap. I don't know what the ages are. I'm assuming it's young women. You guys stop, and you guys, the boomer women like myself, the elders, you better step up and start talk sense, please. Okay? Be the auntie. Be the mentor. Give them hope. If you, as a woman, have never gone to Europe or to any country, then you're being put on notice that you better start traveling. Okay? You don't have to travel far. But if you've never left the continent of the United States of America, then it's no wonder you're going through a massive depression. You don't know what's out there. So if I gave you a bowl of oatmeal every day, and I told you that if you crossed the border with your passport, there'd be a banquet of food, you wouldn't know because all you know is oatmeal. So there you go. I have pretty much nothing else to say. I hope you do well. The narrow-minded with big U's think they have huge luxury problems. Exactly. It's entitlement, and it's actually it's privilege. It's Western privilege, and it doesn't have a skin color. I'm not going to start shaming white women. It's Western world privilege. You guys think you have it bad. You really do. Can I walk at 3 o'clock in the morning here in America, like in New York? Fuck no. Have I done it? Yes. Have I run from men chasing me down dark alleyways in New York City and Manhattan? Yes. But I listen to my instincts. Could I do it in Afghanistan? Fuck no. I probably wouldn't live an hour. Could I do it in Norway? Yes. Could I do it in Switzerland? Yes. Yes, I could. So find the countries where you feel the most safe and they have the most freedom of movement. It's really that simple. And it's that simple. Do your research. Map out a plan. Write a plan. Then do your 369 project. Get the book. And then every day, commit to the plan of your new life. Okay? And that's all I have to say. Any shares, anything that you want to share about this? Because honestly, this is insane. Hey, what advice, hang on, would you give someone not trusting the current reality? I'm going through court cases. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you a story. There are two ways to look at the court cases. One is you've had multiple tower moments, and you didn't listen. It's not a new age guilting you that you fucked up. That's not it. But there are things, what happens in the universal law when we have tower moments. So there are multiple tower moments. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. So a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer, and she's got a boyfriend. She's been with him 5 years. And she's been seeing the red flags for a long time with the relationship. But then she develops breast cancer, and then he leaves her, saying, I don't want a woman with no breasts. I don't want to be with you. I didn't sign up for this. Do you know how many men have said that? But you know also how many men have married and fell in love with women with absolutely double mastectomy and loved the shit out of them, had babies with them? So just to put it in perspective. But so a woman who now has just seen her boyfriend of 5 years, who she thought, if I just put in more work, if I just give him more time, maybe, and then she realizes when the chips are down, the guy's a piece of shit. Tower moment. She goes through chemo on her own and a mastectomy or double on her own. And then she realizes many things that she had denied herself. So then she comes to a place of realizing, my God, those tower moments were important because now I know what I know. And I've become transcendental, and I've stepped into my full power and my full light. And I will never, never lean on someone who I know from the giddy up was no one I could trust. You know, so when you have tower moments like in court cases, what you have to do is ask yourself, what was I not listening to? Then forgive yourself for not listening to the message. Forgive yourself. Because it's too late now. There's no point in berating yourself, beating yourself up. No point. So you forgive yourself, and then you thank the universe for the lesson that's about to hit. That's number one. Number two, and you visualize a different outcome as if it's happening now. And you thank the universe for the different outcome. You thank them for the tower moment. You thank them for what's to be redirected through your energy work. That's what you do with court cases. And if you lose the court case, for example, you don't say, well, that shit doesn't work. You say, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, because I know that I'm still learning something that I'm not getting. And I understand that you're forcing the issue, and I'm paying attention. And you start journaling, and you start working on excavating yourself. Okay? Because trust me, there were always red flags. You chose not to see them. This is the truth with me. This is the truth with every human being on the planet when we are faced with shit. There's always red flags before the tower moment comes. Okay? It makes sense. Thank you. I did a mushroom trip. I was sobbing and saying it wasn't my fault. There you go, because it wasn't your fault, but you have to listen to the signs. You're not 3 years old when it's not your fault. You're not 6 years old when it's not your fault. And if this was trauma from being SA'd, abuse, whatever, no, it's never your fault. There's no question it's never your fault. Never. Something my husband told me years ago, there was a court case of a multiple grape. Jodie Foster made a movie about it. And I remember I was like 22, 23 saying, well, you don't walk into a pool hall bar Jodie Foster made a movie about it. And I remember I was like 22, 23 saying, well, you know, I mean, you don't walk into a pool hall bar and wear that. And my husband set me straight. He said, I don't care, because at the time, you know, it was the 80s. I don't care if it's Sade, Ursula Andress, Bo Derek walking down the street naked. The only thing anyone should do is put a blanket on that person, take him to the hospital and ask them, are you going to be okay? I got you until you're in safe hands. So rape is never, and sexual assault is never about the victim being responsible for any of it. Never. So for a lot of women and a lot of men who have gone through this, okay, well, I mean, look at the Menendez case. I mean, really watch the case. Even if you only watch like 15 minutes here and 15 minutes there, like watch the case. They still love their parents. That's definitely Stockholm syndrome. That's like massive brainwashing. And because the body's an organic machine, there's that kind of, you know, conflict going on. So I'm like repeating things, but some of you are new to me. So I'm for you, it's new what I'm saying. But you've got to realize that there's certain people you chose to become your lovers that were patterns of what you saw in your home between your parents. And so you replayed those patterns in your own life. You know what I mean? Like toxic loyalty, right? Shit like that. That put you in harm's way in the end, okay? I hope that helps. I've been journaling. I'm scared getting into department because of this. You're scared getting into department because... Can you explain to me what you mean by DEPT, department, because of this? Why would you be scared? Why are you scared? Let me know. Like type it out. Because that is a concern to me. Why are you scared? Are you scared of yourself? Are you scared of being harmed? Are you scared of your rights to be autonomous, to have freedom of movement, to be removed? Are you scared of being put in a mental hospital and not being allowed to leave, like Frances Farmer? Frances Farmer was an actress who was a communist, you know, like in the 1950s. There was a movie about her. And she was put in a mental home. And you know how fun those places were in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Fuck, even now, some of them. And she was lobotomized. Forcibly, that's what they did to women who lost their shit. They would lobotomize us in mental homes, or they would send us to nunneries. One or the other. So the psyche of the female pain is a real thing. I will never poo-poo it. It's a real trauma. Don't get me wrong. But that's why we incarnated as women, to right the wrongs that we had done as men to women. Just so you know, on the side note. Don't forget that if you believe in reincarnation. It's a fraud case and it's a lot of money. I got you. I understand that. And I have a feeling that it's not your fault. You were forced in a situation, or else you would have done it. I don't think you did it because it was fun. I don't think you did it because it was fun. I don't think you did it to really harm anything. You know, I think that you need to forgive yourself and work on the energies around you so that this is mitigated. You've got Martha Stewart as an example. She went to jail for, I think it was 150 days, 155 days, something like that, for insider trading, supposedly. I still don't buy it. I really don't believe it. Because she did it because it was for $45,000. Not 2, 3, 4 million. 45K, a drop in the bucket. Nothing. A joke sum. And she went to jail for that length of time. And it did grind her to dust. There were certain parts of her, like an entitlement / arrogance, that really she had. Let's be honest. And to be honest, when I look at her, I see a woman who is way better for it. It's fucked up to say. I wish that wasn't true. But she got to see women who really didn't have choices. Women who were going to spend the rest of their lives in that system. Women that in fact, she talks about a woman who was a gardener and had been already there 12 years. You see what I'm saying? So don't be afraid. I want you to read The Power of Now and Practicing the Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I want you to read The Surrender Experiment and the Surrender Experiment. He was facing 25 years in jail for fraud. The FBI was on his ass, and he was facing 25 years in jail. And so this was a case that was insane because his attorney, his top attorney, died of leukemia. Fuck. And he was like, what the, and he kept surrendering to the universe, going, I trust. If the last years of my life are going to be incarcerated in a prison, then so be it. But I'm going to be in the now. And while he was facing this incredible trial that went on for years, he wrote The Untethered Soul. I'm talking about Michael Singer. So you won't be the first person, and it is frightening. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But I want you to know that incredible people have faced what you are facing. And whatever happens, you have to understand the surrender to it, which is easier said than done, and easy for me to say to you. I'm almost ashamed to say that to you. But I know that you need to hear that, so you can look at different people to mentor you through this, remotely mentoring you. So again, Michael Singer, The Surrender Experiment, and the Untethered Soul. It blows my mind that he wrote The Untethered Soul facing 25 years in federal prison. That's insane. But he did it. And miraculously, the charges were dropped because he didn't do anything in his case. In Martha Stewart, to be honest, it was hearsay. It was her best friend throwing her under the bus. Was she really her best friend? Oh, believe me, sometimes your friends aren't your friends. Okay? So, I hope that you can work on your chakras. I know it's going to sound like, oh God, great, work on my chakras. But what's that going to do? Fucking everything. People have done it all over the world to actually heal themselves from cancers. Read the book Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Look up in Google how Joe Dispenza got himself out of being in a wheelchair from his motorcycle accident when he was I think he was 27 or 28 years old, as a chiropractor in San Diego. Impossible feats. Damn near called magical. Seriously. Getting out of impossible situations into brand new pathways of a truer, more authentic life. You see what I'm saying? My case has been going on for 4 years. It has learned me a lot, and it makes sense what you say. So I've literally mentioned all these people that are going to be your mentors. Okay? Don't worry. A jail. Oh, I'm a felon. That's not the worst fucking thing that can happen. I'm sorry. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fucking awful to have your freedom, your wings cut. Imagine a falcon, an eagle, where their wings are cut. That's awful. I get it. No, believe me. The last thing I want for anyone. Trust me. But have I had people I love that were absolutely brilliant, fucking brilliant, end up behind bars? Absolutely. I have. And I don't disrespect them for doing it. It's not, to me, that's not something to be ashamed of. That's against societal mores of cruelty and judgment. It's unfair. It's not right. You haven't been there. Look at the book Les Misérables. What happens to Les Misérables? Written by Victor Hugo. Jean Valjean steals a loaf of bread. Okay? And in society's mores, right? In society's agreement, oh my God, you steal a loaf of bread, your ass is going to jail. Hard labor. If you owed a debt, a tax, you go to debtor's prison. If you stole, you were highwayman, you got hung. If you rebelled against the cause, you were drawn and quartered, then hung. Come on, girl. If you were a midwife who the baby was born stillborn, you could be accused of witchcraft and burned at the stake. Sweetie, we've gone through generations, hundreds of years of injustices. It's not okay, but it has happened, and it makes us no worse for it. There's nothing to be ashamed of any of those things. Nothing. What we need to do is take our power back so that we create a society that is just, fair, and generous. There's an amazing African saying called Ubuntu. I love that saying, Ubuntu. And so, again, African villages. So here, remember, it takes a village. Well, that's an African proverb. It takes a village, which, thank Hillary Clinton for taking that for her book. But anyway, Imbuto means if you hurt, the one person hurts, the village surrounds the person with compassion, going, what can we do to make you feel better? What can we do to raise your energy? What have we done that may have harmed you, your sense of safety? There's no gaslighting. There's no get over it. There's no, come on, put on your big girl pants or whatever. There's, you're hurting, so we're hurting. I think it's an incredible, beautiful way of creating a society of compassion and generosity. And the content creators are creating fear. Please block them. I'm blocking a lot. You'd be surprised. I think I've blocked like 20 people in the last 24 hours. I don't want them on my feed. No hate on them. I didn't comment. Like, I didn't say, are you an idiot? I just block them. Block people who are going to lower your frequency and bring you to a place of despair. You do not need that feed on your TikTok feed, on your Instagram, on your YouTube. You do not need that shit. You do not. And after a while, you know better than me that the algorithm will give you things that are in of what is going to raise your frequency, because that's what you're saying yes to. This is what you're liking. This is what you're listening to. Things that say yes. You have choices. Yes. You're going to be okay. Yes. Okay? So I hope that helps, because God knows I've been carrying a lot of guilt and shame of this. Well, I have a guided meditation. This is not to sell you on anything. It's free. I'm not selling you anything. It's a guided meditation. Look up on my link, on my profile page. You'll see, it'll say guided meditations, literally. It'll say guided meditations. I want you to go on that and you'll see Ho'oponopono. It starts with an H-O. Just remember H-O. That's the guided meditation I want you to do every night. Then go under mantras for abundance. And then do Aham Prema. Do I am divine love, meaning Aham Prema in Sanskrit. So you can get the beautiful, powerful frequency of Sanskrit. Okay? I believe and listen to everything you say. Thank you. You're welcome, my love. You will come out of this stronger. Absolutely. I've been carrying, we're done with that. And as crazy as this sounds, you will be thankful for this experience. Absolutely. Oh, on the funny side, he is born on the 8/8. I hope he gets karma back. Don't hope anybody's karma back. Don't ever do that. None of you ever do that shit. Don't do that. I'm going to explain something to you. In the 21st century, karma has become either instantaneous or a year or two later, and it comes in the form of disease, of financial loss, of divorce, or of death. Just saying. So you actually hoping, you're wasting your energy. You should be hoping you forgive yourself. You should be working on that. Every ounce of your energy should be on you. And if you want to give compassion to women in Gaza right now. In other words, put your energy sometimes to that part of the world where women literally do not have a right to do shit. They have no right. None. They're treated like no better than a beaten down dog. Okay? So don't do that. Karma never misses its mark. I started the live saying to the content creators who are creating these egregores of fears, that are creating people that are harming themselves, karma never misses its mark. She does not fucking play. She comes out like Kali. Intense, righteously enraged. She takes care of business. Don't worry about his karma. Don't fucking worry about it. You're wasting your energy, okay? Trust your inner voice, your heart song. Block them. Exactly. Thank you for all the wise advice and words. I will look into the meditation. Absolutely, you better. And I have people all over the world downloading that meditation and listening to it every fucking night. It puts them to sleep. Thank God. And it's got, you'll work on your chakras in that, and it's self-forgiveness. So, and that's it. That's what you're going to have to do. You have to shift your energy to save your own life, or to co-create your own life. Because right now, your life it feels to me like you feel like your life is out of your hands, out of control. And to save your life means to have your life back in your hands, and you have full control. You've got the reins of your life. You got your hands on the steering wheel of your life, and you make decisions. And you don't feel like a victim. Believe me, to have moments of feeling like a victim is having your human experience. It's normal. It is what it is. But at some point, you got to be 80% I'm in control, 20% oh fuck. 20% oh fuck is a pretty good balance. 80% oh fuck isn't good. So you got to be in the 80% I got this. It's fucking mine. I fucking own my life. I do whatever the fuck I want. 20% oh fuck. It's a good ratio. And it's more accurate. Okay, exactly what I'm feeling. It feels like I'm drowning. Exactly. So you need to shift your mind. You need to brainwash yourself out of the brainwashing. All right? All right, my loves, I need to go. I have shit to do, as you probably do too. But go ahead and get those guided meditations on my profile. If you want a reading, if you want an Akashic reading with me, if you want a hypnotherapy session with me to go into your past lives or childhood trauma, if you want to do a psychic reading, twin flame reading, anything of that nature, or even career. I work with clients all over the world on career and reconnecting with what is their heart-centered joy and what kind of business they need to like co-create. Because most of us, honestly, weren't built to work for other people. At some point, working for other people becomes a dead-end street. Okay? And and that's the reality. So anyway, if you want any of that, go on my profile page on my Linktree. You'll see my website. You can go on that, fill out the intake form. I am never going to, by the way, if anyone contacts you through TikTok messaging, it is not me. Please do not get scammed because they're out there. And the karma on them is, it'll come through with disease. Trust me, disease and loss of other things that they love. So, but please don't be a victim of scammers. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. You're welcome. Good to see you, Robert. You're always here, and I appreciate your beautiful heart. I hope it's true. Trump got a ceasefire. There you go. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I know that interest rates dropped. Gasoline dropped overnight. I don't know. You know, all I know is this: the sun still rose. See, when the sun doesn't rise, that's when we should all go, oh fuck. Okay? But for now, until the sun rises and the moon rises and the sun sets, we're good. As long as you have a roof over your head, as long as you have one Doc Holiday on your side, one good friend that will tell you the truth to your face, with compassion, not to put you down, but to say you're fucking up, or you did great, I love you, you're amazing. Yeah, you need a Doc Holiday. If you don't have one, go find yourself one. Number one. Number two, you matter. One human being on the planet is a loss when they take their own life. If this is the true number, that by 5 a.m., 706 souls took their own lives because of the bullshit egregore created by content creators who don't give a fuck about them and just want to get content and likes and hit them. Tap the screen. I hear them tapping the screen for damn near a whole year. I didn't know what the hell that meant. Tapping the screen means this. Little hearts. Tapping the screen. So that's more important to them. They'll actually break a whole conversation about Gaza and Geno or women's reproductive rights and go tap the screen. The goal is 20,000. You got to think again, okay? Because I've never done that in any of my lives. Okay? If I get a gift, thank you. If I don't, thank you. Okay? My whole entire business is based on clients seeking my services out. It's not on how many times you're going to tap my screen. Am I appreciative of all your love? Of course I am. But I notice people do it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? Are they interested in the subject at hand that seems pretty serious? Or are they just doing 6 hours of live stream to just get content? So there was a girl, and I am going to throw her under the bus, I'm sorry, who had a picture from the movie of A Handmaid's Tale, and she was on for like damn near 10 hours. Sometimes saying nothing. Just letting the screen roll with comments. Just letting it roll. That's disgraceful because it fed the egregore of fear and despair. And that is the wrong place for us to be as a people. All right, my loves, I'm going to let you go. Do previous... No, you call me directly. If you have my phone number, you text me. You don't do the intake form. If you have been a client of mine and you have my number, go ahead and, go ahead and contact me directly. If you want, you can go on my DM and give me your phone number and I will call you. I will never give out my phone number. Okay. I prefer getting your phone number, and then I'll call you. Just let me know if you're in Canada, if you're in Norway, if you're in Australia, if any, because I have clients all over the world. Just let me know. And if you are outside the country, I do use WhatsApp. That's how I do my sessions, or Zoom if we're doing like a hypnotherapy session. So I need to know your country and country code. Okay. So if you're a previous client, absolutely connect me. Okay. All right, my love. Sending you much love on your journey. You guys are great. You matter. Each one of you is a jewel in the crown of God's beautiful form, the formless form, the one of 1,000 names, the one who created us all. All right, namaste, much love. Be well.